Kaluna is the ancestral home of George Verghese, founder of Midas Group. His mother, Mrs. B.F. Verghese, who has written many recipe books, lived and cooked here for many years. After her time, when the house became unused, it was renovated and converted into a place for events. It became popular during COVID times as weddings, small weddings, was the order of the day. We've had weddings, baptisms, training programs, and some cooking classes by chefs in this house. Purple Crayon, run by our dear friends, Ashika and Reba, have had some pop-up food and lifestyle events here as well. We are happy to have all of you here, as this is the first time we are having an event like this in Kaluna. We have collaborated with DC Books in bringing such an event together. We are immensely proud of Shailaja teacher for what she has done for the state. And we thank you, Manju, Sara, Rajan, our dear friend, for putting this book together. I would like to call upon Vasavan Chetan, Minister of Corporation and Registration, Government of Kerala, to say a few words.
ഈ സദസ്സിലെ പ്രഗത്ഭരും പ്രശസ്തരും പ്രതിഭാശാലികളുമായ വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങളെ, സമ്പന്നതരായ നേതാക്കന്മാരെ, വിശിഷ്യ ഇന്നത്തെ മുഖ്യാതിഥിയായിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയങ്കരിയായ ശൈല ടീച്ചർ, ബഹുമാന്യരെ, സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെ, ശൈല ടീച്ചറെക്കുറിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയണമെങ്കിൽ 1 മണിക്കൂറോ 2 മണിക്കൂറോ പോരാ, ഒരു ദിവസം പറയാനുള്ള അനുഭവം എനിക്കുള്ള ആളാണ്. കൂത്തുപറമ്പിലെ MLA ആയിരിക്കുന്ന ഘട്ടത്തിൽ ടീച്ചറുടെ മണ്ഡലത്തിലായിരുന്നു ആദ്യം റപ്പോ സ്ഥാപിക്കാൻ ഞങ്ങളെത്തിയത്. അന്ന് മുതൽ ഉള്ള ബന്ധങ്ങൾ, ഒരുമിച്ച് അസംബ്ലിയിൽ പ്രവർത്തിക്കാനുള്ള അവസരം, മന്ത്രിയായിരുന്നപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ജില്ലയിലെ മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജിന് ചെയ്തു തന്ന സേവനങ്ങളും സഹായങ്ങളും, ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഒരിക്കലും മറക്കാനാവാത്ത എത്രയോ സന്ദർഭങ്ങൾ, സർവോപരി ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലന രംഗത്ത് ആഗോള മാതൃക സൃഷ്ടിച്ച ഒരാരോഗ്യമന്ത്രി ആര് എന്ന ചോദ്യത്തിന് ഒരു ഉത്തരമേ ഉള്ളൂ, അത് ശൈല ടീച്ചറാണ് എന്ന് ഞാൻ അഭിമാനത്തോടെ പറയുകയാണ്. ഒരുപക്ഷെ മാൾഡോവ സർവകലാശാലയിൽ വിസിറ്റിംഗ് പ്രൊഫസറായി ഇന്ത്യയിൽ നിന്ന് ആദ്യം പോയ ആരോഗ്യമന്ത്രിയും ടീച്ചറായിരുന്നു എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആ പ്രശസ്തി ഇവിടെ ആഗോളതലത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ ഉന്നയിക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിലൊരതിശയോക്തിയുമില്ല. മാത്രവുമല്ല, നമ്മുടെ കോവിഡ് കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ BBC-യും വാഷിങ്ടൺ പോസ്റ്റും ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലന രംഗത്തെ ശ്രദ്ധേയമായ നേട്ടങ്ങളുടെ ഉള്ളടക്കം ടീച്ചറിൻ്റെ മികവിൻ്റെ അംഗീകാരമായിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ കാണുന്നത്. ഒരുപക്ഷെ ആഗോളതലത്തിൽ അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള മാധ്യമങ്ങൾ ആ വിഷയമെടുത്ത് ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത് കോട്ടയം മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജിലെ 96 വയസ്സുള്ള അപ്പച്ചനെയും അമ്മച്ചിയും ഒക്കെ ഭേദമാക്കി വിട്ട സംഭവങ്ങളുമായി ലിങ്ക് ചെയ്താണ് എൻ്റെ ചർച്ച വന്നെങ്കിലും കേരളത്തിനൊട്ടാകെ ആ രംഗത്ത് ഏറ്റെടുത്ത വലിയ ദൗത്യം കൃത്യമായി ആഗോളതലത്തിൽ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടു. യുണൈറ്റഡ് നേഷൻസ് അത് കൃത്യമായി നോട്ട് ചെയ്ത സംഭവങ്ങളാണ്. അവരുടെ അസസ്മെൻറ്റിൽ കൃത്യമായി ആ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലെ ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലന രംഗത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങളും ഒപ്പം മാതൃകയും എന്ന് സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥിതിയുണ്ടായി. നമ്മുടെ സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാവുന്നതുപോലെ ആ കാലഘട്ടത്തിലെ ആരോഗ്യപരിപാലന രംഗം എത്ര സൂക്ഷ്മതയോടെ, എത്ര ജാഗ്രതയോടെ, എത്ര വലിയ ഉത്തരവാദിത്ത ബോധത്തോടെ ഒരു മാതൃസഹജമായ സ്നേഹവാത്സല്യവും സഹോദരീ തുല്യമായ സ്നേഹവാത്സല്യവും സഹോദരതുല്യമായ സ്നേഹവാത്സല്യവും എല്ലാവരോടും പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ച് ഭരണരംഗത്തും ജനപ്രതിനിധി എന്ന രൂപത്തിലും ജനകീയ പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്ന രംഗത്തുമെല്ലാം ഒരേപോലെ ഒരു മന്ത്രി എങ്ങനെയായിരിക്കണം എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ അത് ശൈല ടീച്ചറെ പോലെ ആയിരിക്കണം എന്ന് പറയാൻ കഴിയുന്ന രൂപത്തിൽ ടീച്ചറുടെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടതാണ്. അത് കൃത്യമായി ഇന്ന് സമൂഹത്തിൻ്റെ ശ്രദ്ധയിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ വേണ്ടി ടീച്ചറെക്കുറിച്ച് ഇത്തരമൊരു ആധികാരികമായ ഗ്രന്ഥവും അത് സംബന്ധിച്ച ചർച്ചയും സംഘടിപ്പിക്കാൻ മുന്നോട്ട് വന്ന അതിൻ്റെ അണിയറ ശില്പികളെ പ്രത്യേകമായി അഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നു. ഈ സന്തോഷം പങ്കുവയ്ക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഈ നാടിൻ്റെ ഒരു പരിച്ഛേദം ചെറിയ ഉള്ളടക്കത്തിലാണെങ്കിലും ഇവിടെ കൂടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. ആ നിലയിൽ ഏറ്റവും മഹനീയമായ ഒരു സന്ദർഭം ടീച്ചർക്ക് അക്ഷരനഗരിയിൽ ഇതിൽപ്പരമൊന്നും കിട്ടാനില്ല. ഇതൊരു വലിയ അംഗീകാരമായി തന്നെ കണക്കാക്കാം എന്നുകൂടി സൂചിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിനുവേണ്ടി മുൻകൈ എടുത്തവരെ പ്രത്യേകമായി അഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.
The moderator for the evening is Ponnu Liz Malieckal. She is the Assistant Professor of English at BCM College, Kottayam, with over 13 years' experience at teaching. Her areas include linguistic and subaltern studies. She is currently pursuing her PhD in post-millennial graphic narratives at Mahatma Gandhi University. Over to Ponnu to introduce our guests.
Namaskaram. It's indeed an honor to be here. We have with us today an ex-minister who has been known across the globe as the rock star health minister, the corona slayer, top thinker of 2020, and one of the most influential women of 2020. To the people of Kerala, she is Shailaja teacher, the strong yet comforting figure with an endearing smile, who is a minister for health, social justice, women and child development of Kerala between 2016 and 2021, the period that Kerala grappled with many calamities and disasters. From Oki to Nipah virus, the floods of 2018, and of course, the pandemic. We can all agree unanimously that it was Shailaja teacher's quick thinking, intent to help, resilience, and dedication that helped Kerala overcome these disasters. Currently, she serves as the MLA of the Mattanur constituency, dedicating her service to the people of Kannur, the place she has lived all her life. This evening, we'll be discussing her book, My Life as a Comrade, the story of an extraordinary politician and the world that shaped her, which she has co-authored along with Manju Sara Rajan, journalist, editor, and writer. Manju is the former CEO of Kochi Biennale Foundation, former editor of magazines like Architectural Digest and Vogue, and currently the editor-in-chief of beautifulhomes.com. Our knowledge of the person teacher is limited to her period as a minister, but Manju skillfully captures in her book the various cultural and political influences that shaped her into being the extraordinary politician she is. This book also gives an insight into the social milieu of Kerala and the rise of communism. It's my pleasure and privilege to invite you both to this gathering to discuss your life, work, and the wonderful book you have produced together. Welcome. I'll start with a question. First to you, teacher. So, in your preface, you say, "The ordinary and extraordinary things that happened to my family and those around me have indelibly influenced my life." Close quotes. From the book, it's clear that your family, especially your maternal grandmother, or Ammama as you call her, had a very big role in instilling the political ideology that is inherent in you. Can you speak a little bit more on this?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to express my extreme power to be with the eminent personalities here. And I want to express my thanks to Mida's family, Malayalam Manorama family, and also DC Books, who arranged such a good discussion on my book, on our book, Manju's. You asked me about my grandma. I explained about my grandma several times in my political speech and also friendly talks, etc., because she was my role model, you know. She was a very brave woman, not an eminent leader or a well-known leader outside. In our village, she was a leader. She was a model. And she likes social work, and also she fought against all evils at that time. It is in 1930s and 40s. As you all know, feudalism was rampant at that time. British rule was here. We were fighting, our family and all the political workers, including Congress and Communist Party, they were fighting against the British rule, British imperialism, to get independence. At that time, we were fighting against this feudalism also, landlordism. The poor people have no ownership of the land. They were not enjoying the human rights. They cannot study. They cannot walk through the common path. All the animals were walking, but human beings cannot walk through the public path. And they were fighting. My grandma and my grand-uncle were fighting with Congress, International Congress. My grand-uncle was a member of International Congress and they were fighting for independence. But 1930s, the left ideology came to Kerala also. Some writings and some speeches. When they were in jail, they mingled with some prisoners who have the left thought. And my granduncles also became communist. They also like communist ideology. And they joined the Congress Socialist Party and also Communist Party. But they were not the great leaders who were known outside. In our places, sometimes in our taluk or in our district, one of my granduncle called Ramunni, he was the volunteer captain of that place. We are calling Farka at that time. It is like a taluk level area. And my grandma was not a member of this party or a full-time worker, but she was also interested in these works. And she also always used to go to the party meetings, party classes, etc. And she got some positive thinking through these meetings. Actually, I mentioned in my book that it is a transition period, her period. The feudal beliefs and like that is there, and the new Renaissance period, new ideas were coming about the human rights, that also was there. She was in the middle of it, but she was a brave woman. She fought against untouchability and she fought against the superstitions at that time. I am hearing these stories from my early childhood itself. She was a very good storyteller. She was narrating everything. Everything means about Purana, Idihasa, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. All the characters in Ramayana and Mahabharata were my friends also, because she is telling these stories continuously, repeating and repeating. At the same time, she was telling the stories of the martyrs who fought against untouchability, the peasant struggle in our place. I explained in my books the peasant struggle under communist leadership. And as you know, the most vulgar face of feudalism is the casteism, caste differentiation, untouchability, etc. And she fought against that. At that time, the lower caste women cannot wear the upper dress, you know. They cannot cover the upper body. But my grandma covered upper body. Her father was a supervisor. That time, Malayalam we are calling Mestri in British estate nearby, Makutam. That is, now it is in Karnataka area. Previously it was in Kannada district. It was belongs to Kerala's place at that time. But when the Kerala formed, the linguistic state formed, it became a part of Karnataka district. But her father didn't like the political activities, but at last he also agreed the political activities of his children. So my grandma fought against the untouchability and so many superstitions at that time. And I was very fond of that and I admire her. And she became a role model of me. And she also take me when I was a child. She also take me with her for the meetings and also some social activities. If any death happens in any house, she will be definitely there, preparing food for them, soothing them, cajoling them. I was also with her. So that way, she became my model actually.
Thank you, teacher. Now the next question is to both you and Manju. How is it that you and Manju decided to co-author this book together? With your busy schedule and the physical distance between your hometowns, how did you manage the whole process?
Firstly, I just want to say a big thank you to Malini and Divya who have spent so much effort on putting this together. This is a book that actually was completely born and fulfilled in Kottav. And I think sort of destiny brought me here, and now Kottayam is mine and certainly my children's home. I think this is sort of a Malabar Travancore partnership that we forged. Teacher and I couldn't be from more different experiential backgrounds. But the way the book came about is actually pretty simple. I was a contributing editor for Vogue at the time, and we were doing a series of stories from around the country on you know, COVID warriors and people who were fighting, especially in the medical system against COVID. And I had proposed a story on Shailaja teacher, which eventually became a cover for Vogue. And Juggernaut Publications, on the basis of that cover, offered us this kind of a interesting partnership in that it's an autobiography, but written by me, but pretending to be her. So it's what I call a duet of one, in which hopefully I am not visible in any way. But I think we have a great deal of respect, I think, for one another, and we were lucky that we have become, you know, sort of compatriots in a way.
Thank you, Manju. This is the time to express my thanks to Manju also. Previously, before the book, I was not familiar with the Manju Sara Rajan. I heard her name. She was the CEO of Cochin Binale, and I didn't see her. But Juggernaut Publications asked me, do you allow us to have a book from you? We want your childhood, and also we want the experience as a health minister in 5 years. It was just after my tenure as health minister, they approached me. And I was a party member, party central committee member. I discussed this with Kodiyeri. They are asking to have a book from me. Kodiyeri said, the publications is in Delhi. We can ask Comrade Echuri what kind of publications are there. And we asked Echuri. At once he agreed. He said, Juggernaut is a progressive publication. You can definitely agree. After that, DC also, the Visar is here. He also asked, we are giving the book to others. We are ready to publish a book. But Juggernaut Chiki Sarkar, she called me and we agreed. And she introduced Manju to me. Manju will do it. You can narrate this thing. And Manju will do it. I meet Manju yesterday. I said, I expect a lady, grown-up lady, but she is grown-up. But I think she is studying in college or like that, little girl. But she is not little. Her language is very, very good. And she is a good patient hearing. That is the Manju's habit, you know. I think from my grandma I got some kinds of narrating or storytelling habit. But I didn't say, as my grandma, I was not a very good storyteller. I cannot remember everything. I have no diary note or such things were not there. And I am giving everything from my mind, remembering this thing. Previously, I didn't think about writing a book. Someone is telling that this is an autobiography. It is not an autobiography. It is only a memoir. I remembered certain things and I told Manju about that. Patiently, he heard everything and recorded this thing. Sometimes she have very good research on it because the years and timing that Manju have some suspect. Teacher, this is not matching. I will check it. She is saying that. And after that, I also found that the years, some difference were there. When in my memory, everything became in a kaleidoscope, like a kaleidoscope. But Manju cleared it. I also understand that. And whatever I told her, she noted. And she added in this book, even the minute thing. But some stories, we cannot enter everything, add everything in this book, then the pages go up. They asked for a 200-page book, Manju. but it became 306 pages. And
It was a 45,000.
yes, we cut short certain things, certain stories. There are so many stories about my grandma, you know, very interesting stories. But sorry, we cannot add everything in this book.
It was a 45,000 word contract that became a 75,000 word book.
75,000 it became. That way we made this book, and I think people can read it. Those who read,
It's a wonderful
they
read.
said-
You should all read
They
it.
said it is interesting because one part is the story of my village and my place in Kerala, Malabar. That is the story of Malabar, you know. And the Kudiyatakar and other thing, we were among that people, adventurous journey from Pala and Kottayam, this place to Malabar in search of life, in search of land, agriculture. And we mingled with them. How beautiful was that life. It is beautiful in the sense of relationship between human being, not in the sense of human condition, living condition. That was very bad, and nothing to eat, always starving more days. But it was an interesting thing to explain about this Malabar area and its politics and its human life. That part, first part. Second part, my experience as a minister. That 5 years, as respected minister said, it was a thickly packed days, we can say so, because we are not taking even a minute rest because of this crisis, two devastating floods and this Nipah, COVID, everything. And we all are working together. And it's a story of a teamwork also. Without that team, I cannot do anything. Dr. Jayaprakash Jayakumar is sitting here, my favorite doctor. And how they worked. Now also is working in Kottayam Medical College, cardiologist. And so many doctors. I called him, without you it will not become complete, I said. I mentioned his name in the book also, you know. So many doctors like him. And our minister was MLA at that time. And how he worked hard to improve the conditions of the medical college. And so many people. And Manorama, I cannot forget the support they give, you know. I want to mention one thing. When COVID result, first result came in January 30th, 2020, I rushed to Thrissur to have a meeting there. When I reached there, it was 12 p.m., you know. And after the meeting, when I look outside, all the medias were there. I said, tomorrow morning I will brief you. It is too late. It is 2:30. No, we are standing here to hear from you. What happened? What is the situation? And I narrated everything to them. Next day, Manorama newspaper covered all this, and they have an editorial, and also in editorial page they wrote that it is the first time we were waiting for a minister to get the briefing from her. Because it is a pandemic. It is the duty of each and every one to unite and fight against it. Our ultimate aim is to save the life of the people. Thank you very much. Yes, criticisms were there. Strong criticisms were there. I am not forgetting. But that support they give. They mentioned the name of the minister in that newspaper, you know. That gave me great enthusiasm and the strength to work. Criticism, it is there, I agree. But it was also there. The unity and the support, everything was there. Once again, I am expressing my thanks to everybody who helped me in that crucial moments. That also was in my book, second part.
Thank you. Manju, just a while ago, you said that when you wrote this book, you had to write it pretending to be teacher. And I also felt that, you know, your language and your style of writing differed a lot from your usual style, because I read your Vogue piece also. So how was that process? Because, I mean, the discussion is titled One Voice, Two People. So how difficult was it aligning what you both had in mind? You know, I'm sure she wanted to say it in a particular way, you in another way, especially the Voldemort reference that you made. So...
I mean, it's as a process, it's not a very easy process. You were asking earlier about how we did it. teacher and I have completely different schedules. I go to sleep at 9, her day begins very late and ends very late. So this was a series of things that we did over WhatsApp voice notes. I have hundreds of WhatsApp voice notes, Zoom phone calls in the middle of the night. The construct of it required me to keep myself outside of it. And teacher is a great raconteur of stories. So essentially the main thing that I had to do was make sure that we didn't lose the flavor of how she spoke. She did point out to me, I left a Harry Potter reference in there, which she has been pointing out to me how she would have never left it. But I figured that so it was actually a process of deleting myself as far as possible from the narrative so that it stayed true to the way she speaks. And so that her voice, even though it's in English, it was also a very important thing for both of us that two Malayali women were getting the opportunity to tell our own story our way, which is a very rare thing in English book publishing in India. As we all know, lots of people tell Kerala stories these days, but this was a chance for us to talk also about a part of the country that is rarely spoken of. So yeah, I mean, my main thing was to keep myself out of it, which I hope I did.
Actually, since I just mentioned that I'm working on subaltern, I could say that the first half of your book sort of talks about the subaltern, right? Okay, so the next question. Manju has very beautifully captured in her book the different emotions teacher experienced during her personal and professional life. Before I move on to the question, I request Manju to read a small excerpt from page 83.
So this is from the chapter called The Eternal Balancing Act, where teacher talks about balancing her professional and personal lives. I felt guilty all the time, as though I was falling short in the performance of all my duties. There was always a checklist of things to do, and I felt like I never did them well enough to deserve an A grade in anything. I was drowning in a tide of guilt. Guilt, I wasn't the best teacher I should be. Guilt, I wasn't doing enough in my political work. And guilt, I wasn't doing enough housework either.
Thank you, Manju. So this guilt is something that I think all women present here must have felt at some point of time, right? Not being able to juggle everything together. So teacher, how did you learn to overcome feeling guilty for not getting, in quotes, an A grade for all your duties?
We are all the product of society, you know. What is the mode of the society? That also is governing us also. And I was in the society where freedom is there, and the feudal system is not there as previously, but the feudal attitude is there in the society. And also, as in our language, it is a capitalist society, and the consumerist ideologies are there. Both these feudalism and consumerism are not considering women as an equal human being, you know. That things are there. So I have also the responsibility of home, responsibility as a teacher, and responsibility as a political worker. How to balance these things? It is not an easy thing. I want to be a good teacher. If I want to be a good teacher, not only from 10 to 4, after that also I should stay there in the school and helping the poor students who are backwards and listening their calls, etc. But I have to go outside just after the bell rang for my party meeting and the organization, everything. So I was going. And in the house, now also, women are not so free, you know. As Comrade Lenin said, women are holding the dual responsibilities. Inside the house, dual not responsibilities, the burden. The women who are going outside, she is carrying double burden. The responsibilities about the house and also the responsibility for the society. Even though they are workers or employees or a political worker, anyway, who are going outside, they have the conflicts in their mind. How to take all the responsibilities together. So that governs me also. That was in me also. And I cannot reach home in proper time to cook food or nurse my children, etc. When I leave house early in the morning, they may be in sleep or they are ready to going to school after that. And I was outside at that time. When all the meeting, all the struggles and all the discussions over after long at night, and when I returned 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, they were in sleep, deep sleep, fell asleep. So I cannot nurture, I cannot get the pleasure of that their naughty, their habits, etc. As all other mother, I also have some feelings. I expressed it in my book. But whenever we got time, we were conveying these things to our children also. So my two sons, they were not criticizing me now. They are also agreeing. Amma, you said that you did the right thing. That's my luck, or I am lucky on that part. But these feelings were in me, not only at that time. Now also I am feeling little bit sad because their proper time I cannot be with them to see their activities and their feelings, emotions, etc. As every other mother, I also felt that. That is the truth, you know. But I am not regretting. I am doing outside for the poor women, for fighting for their rights, organizing them, helping them to solve the problems. So many problems. Without reaching the court, we can soothe the peoples. Husband and wife quarrel each other, or beating, or domestic violence, etc. Some cases we can make a solution and rejoin that family, and the happiness also return to their family. Something we cannot. We have to go to court, etc. But I am doing the right. I was doing the right thing. I am not guilty about that, but some prick is there.
Thank you. While reading the book, I felt immense respect for the ministry, the bureaucracy, and the government officials who toiled day and night to help the state through the pandemic. But I'm sure it was not an easy task, teacher, managing the bureaucrats, especially as a first-time minister, and you've written about that in your book. So can you comment on this? How was your rapport?
I wrote in this book that Karl Marx and Engels said bureaucracy is for maintaining the existing system. They tried to do that. That was the remarks about bureaucracy by our these leaders. And but they also said that we cannot abolish the system even after the revolution. We should have to utilize the bureaucracy. Lenin correctly said that. I read that thing. Because bureaucracy is not a revolutionary thing, but we cannot avoid that because they are experienced, they have full of knowledge with them. I am saying my opinion, no need to agree with me. Don't be irritated hearing me like that. But I also decided to utilize the bureaucracy. They were not all for the feudalism or capitalism. There are so many progressive thinkers among them. They all are capable of changing everything. They have knowledge, they have enthusiasm, and they have some ideas and plans. I also joined with them. The first thing is we should have to appreciate them. What is their actual being, or their identity, or their personality. We cannot always blame them. And we should criticize them also. We cannot let them do anything they want. Politicians should control everything. But politicians should utilize the bureaucracy. We should form a team with them. For example, when Mr. Rajiv Sadanandan, he was my health secretary, he was a very efficient secretary, IAS officer. He came to me first and he said, "Madam, what is your plan for health as a health minister?" I said, "I am the first time. I don't know anything. You are working with health sector 13 years. And you please say, what is your plan?" He said, no, I will not say first. I am a bureaucrat. I have so many plans. But you are a politician. What is your policy? You please tell me and I will make it fruitful, or I will make it workable. And I will make a project for you. Then I said, my manifesto, our manifesto contains, and I also think that we should listen to the primary sector, prevention. The Almata declaration, I read all these things before meeting him, and discuss with him. I don't know previously about these health systems and these meetings, etc. From literature, I find it. All these meetings, international meetings, under the leadership of United Nations and all other nations, and Almata, they give importance or focus to the primary and prevention, not only protection and rehabilitation, etc., curing, etc. This is the important thing. He was very happy. He said, who said you didn't know anything? That is the most important thing. I am also with you for that. I will make a project for you and we can proceed. At that time, this Ardhar mission was declared by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, and we add all this primary care project in this Ardhar mission, and with the help of all others, all this health community, we started changing the existing system. Existing system was not bad at that time, 2016, but there are so many drawbacks. Contemporary issues are not as the previous thing. We should have to act for the contemporary issues in health sector also, and that way we plan. Bureaucracy, they are very strong and intelligent and they have experience.
necessary.
We should agree that.
Day before yesterday, during my telephonic conversation with Manju, she was telling me about the great rapport that you two share. And also Manju just mentioned a while ago that you both come from different experiences and you're very different people. So did you have any apprehensions about choosing Manju as your co-author?
Yes, actually, as I said, in front of me, she was sitting, a college girl, but at once I understood she was not only a college girl, brilliant lady, and a very good language, etc. I started my narration and she heard me patiently. And after that, she gave me 1 or 2 chapters in writing. Teacher, please look at it and give your comments. I was very happy that my emotions, my feelings, everything was there in her language, Sometimes she became excited and she tried to add something. So, in some part I corrected because I am a member of Communist Party, Central Committee member. I said, Manju, we cannot add this. But the Harry Potter, I am mentioning about this smallpox, In our place at that time, there is a superstition. If we utter a word, basuri, then it will come. So we are not telling by name this a sukad. That was the mention at
പറയാൻ
that time.
പറ്റാത്ത ഒരു വാക്ക് അല്ലേ?
Yes. And there she gave this Harry Potter. When utter a word, it will be in your presence. Manju said, no, madam, it should be there. Oh, at last I agree. Manju was doing a fantastic work, and the Harry Potter for her. It is there in my book. And I was very happy with Manju, Oh, she was very nice and
She's done an excellent job.
She lived in 30s and 40s and again 50s.
Seemed like
and
that even when I read
after the pandemic
it.
period, she lived with this book, That is why the book became, I think it is interesting,
That brings me to my next question to you, Manju. Manju, your book has done extremely well, and I hear that within just 6 months, it's gone for reprint again. So congratulations on that. What I want to know is that after your book on teacher, have you been approached by any other politicians to write their story?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sent a couple of chapters of different people's books, but honestly, this could only have happened with teacher. It comes from, one, the fact that these are 2 women writing a story about a milieu that, even though we are from different parts of the state and have had very different experiences, the experience of a working mother and some of the challenges of doing certain things is very similar. And teacher and I have been able to build a rapport, and I mean, I don't see myself doing anything similar with anybody else, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think there are always interesting stories to be told about things, but I think the fact that this was also a story about Kerala is really the main reason that I would do it. The other politicians in question were from other states, so.
Thank you. Teacher, in page 163, you say, in quotes, there are some instances which make me believe author Paulo Coelho's assertion that if one really wants something, the universe will conspire to make it happen. And throughout the book, you seem to suggest that the lack of intent is the biggest impediment in getting things done. What are your views on this?
Definitely, the resources are not as much as we deserve or we ask. And with this minimum resource, how can we solve the problems? That is the question, you know. As you all know, the central government is investing only 2% of the GDP in health sector. That is not sufficient. From the first day of independence itself, we are quarreling and struggling and asking to increase the investment in health sector, at least 10% of the GDP. Then only we can carry on all these things properly. But it is not happening. And as Kerala, as you know, Kerala, the revenue income is too less in Kerala. We have no source of revenue income here. And our requirements are high. How can we tackle this problem? That is the question. How can we mobilize these things? We thought about that. I am not elaborating. In this book, I stated how we make the PHC to FHCs. We are getting fund from KIFBI, Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board, to higher hospitals, Taluk Hospital and district hospitals. But this PHC, we are converting the infrastructure. We decided that it should not be awkward condition and it should be patient friendly. There should be a very good garden outside the hospital, PHC, public health center, primary health center, and a very good reception inside. There should be an LED presentation wall or in the wall, and there should be a very modern toilet for men and women, everything. Even a yoga center, a breastfeeding cabin, everything we imagined. But make it true, we should have money. At least 50 lakhs to 2.5 crores. If there is a building, strong building, we can modify that. If there is an old building, most of the buildings were very old, we should have to demolish it and build a new one. So we were asking the people to mobilize some resource. Someone helped us, some people, not all. But there was very good response in Calicut. Industrious based family for sons of a industrialist, late industrialist. They said, my father liked to modify this hospital. And we said, please make it a family health center. How much it cost? 2.5 crores. Oh, 2.5 crores. I said, you should do that. And that four brothers together built that hospital. It became 3 crores and a 3-story building with an even lift inside. That way, if you approach people, it will work. Slowly, it is not easy. So, mobilizing the resources first. And this intent, that is also there. We built a very good hospital building. But after that, no one is cleaning that.
Yeah,
when I was minister, the first time I visited General Hospital, Trivandrum, Doctor, I became too much angry on that. And I was very sad to see the position that when I entered, it was a dengue fever period, you know. Dengue is flooding throughout our state. And when I entered the hospital, there was a little car porch or like that. And inside, one car is there and too many scooters are there. When I entered there, full of mud and piece of clothes and very dirty things were there. I astonished how they stopped their vehicles there and go to the hospital without looking at this. And I called them. They said, we have not proper staff here. Actually, before entering the hospital, I took all the staff strength position, etc. Only 15 or 17 posts are vacant there, but there are so many staffs there. They can clean it, you know. And I am not explaining everything. Inside it is also too dirty. Desks are there. An old refrigerator. It was in a pathetic condition. It was on the way. It is standing there, making hindrance to everybody. When I opened the refrigerator, nothing was inside. And everything was put inside, dumped the dirty things inside. And I said, why are you not take this material away? Oh, that is provided by a patient in memory of her father. What is the use of it? It is not working. Dirty thing. I said, at once you should remove that thing. So I said, you should clean this. And day after that, the Police Officers Association called me, seeing all these things in newspapers. They said they will clean the hospital. They will come. And when I told the superintendent and other doctors, you should be ready. The police officers will came, police force will came to clean our hospital. They went there. But at that time, all the nurses, doctors, everyone come outside and joined the cleaning process. Within hours, the hospital become neat and clean place. Why they didn't do that? If there is no proper staff, there is money in hospital management committee. Nearly 1 crore rupees was there at that time. Why are you not hiring some people to clean their hospital? That is the lack of intent. We are waiting for everything to come from outside or getting from government. This is also government, but they are not doing proper. Not everyone. Some people are like that. There are another examples also, very good examples. I put it in my book. I am not explaining. Very good people, like doctor. Without this full staff strength, how Kottayam Medical College, the nurses, they are doing all the jobs. But they are planning. Their administration is very good, that is why. So, about the public property, we are not looking. We are the authority of the public property, you know. We should maintain it. We should maintain it properly. Most people are not doing that. Oh, it is government property. We have nothing to do with that. That is the mentality. That mentality should change definitely. Then only we can progress, you know.
Most of us here, everybody, usually you're remembered for your work in the health department, but they often forget that you did exemplary work in the women and child development department, especially Sonamol's incident, and also the social justice department, where you did remarkable work for the upliftment of the transgenders. Both these incidents show your empathetic attitude, which is often lacking in people holding public office these days. How would you say empathy makes a better politician?
It was the policy of our government, you know, to help the vulnerable people. There is also the scarcity of money. That department also is facing that. But Chief Minister always is saying that you should help the poor and you should arrange some projects for them, special project for them. Once he said, you are looking at health department and you are doing very good things in health, but you are not listening this women and children department as much. So I felt that because of this pandemic and other thing, I was giving more focus to the health department. But after that, I started giving importance to women and children department and social departments also. Women and children department was dealing with it is dealing with the women and children issue. That is also related to health department also. And the other department, that department social justice is dealing with the transgenders, old age peoples and also the differently abled peoples. And we started some umbrella project for them. For transgenders, we have a project called Rainbow, this Madavillu, Rainbow. And under that project, we have so many other sub-projects, such as to improve their education, continuous education. We made them enter to Saksharata classes, and they have now 4th standard. They passed 4th standard, 7th standard, and some TG ended for +2 education also. And another project to develop their skills, skill development and giving some employment to them, some entrepreneurship. We had formed a special council And other project was about their cultural activities. We started a cultural program called Varna Pagit for the transgenders. Their dances and all other activities were arranged by themselves. First meeting, I felt something different because these peoples are coming in a different manner. Their dressing style and so much perfumes they were using, and I said, no, you are also human beings. As male and female, trans is also a truth, an identity. You have your identity, so you should have to study and should have to come forward for social work, and you should mingle with other persons. I think after that, the parents are now ready to reveal that their little one is a trans. Otherwise, they were suppressing, In Trivandrum, a medical doctor, MBBS, after that, he joined in a private hospital, MBBS doctor. But at that time, that instinct comes slowly. He wanted to become a lady. That was her instinct or his instinct. But the parents didn't allow. They didn't allow. They suppressed him. And she went out of his home and he became she. The piteous thing is that when he became she, the hospital owners at once diminished or cut short his wages or salary. I called that hospital, what is the difference? The male doctor was working. In the medical field, male and female have same salary, equal salary. But when she became TG, transgender female, they cut short their salary. I didn't agree that. I asked them to give the full salary for her, And that way we helped, we give assistance, support to the TG people, and not all the problems were solved. There are so many problems. Their surgery. Doctor, again I am coming to doctor. We started transgender clinic. The first transgender clinic in Kerala started in Kottayam. Everything, when I wanted to do first time, I'm looking at Kottayam Medical College. Because Dr. Jayakumar is there, Jayaprakash is there, and V.N. Vasavan is there. The liver transplant surgery. Everyone said Trivandrum is best. Please give to Trivandrum Medical. Trivandrum is best. But I am more enthusiastic. I discussed with Vasavan. Comrade Vasavan is said, Madam, Comrade, we will start in Kottayam. Please give it to us. And I called Dr. Jayakumar also. And now, how much surgery was over? 4 surgery was over in government sector. That way, a transgender clinic was there. Day before yesterday, I connected some transgender to Dr. Jayakumar for SRS surgery, SRS. I think they will come soon. Please help them. That way, we were assisting the trans community.
Now, forgive me if my next question comes across as cliche. I mean, I'm sure that it's been asked many times, so I've sort of rephrased it. So I remember being quite aghast, like the rest of Kerala, that you did not make it to the cabinet when the new when CPM returned to power. Even to you, this was a disappointment, not because you wanted a seat in the cabinet, but because it was your dream to complete the process of renewing the health sector, and you were concerned that what you had started building would be left incomplete. Now, was it not fair, and I don't mean personally, that Kerala itself was denied benefiting from the experience and the expertise that you had gained over the past 5 years?
I'm not disappointed, I have some dreams and I started my work. That was not only my work, that was a teamwork. I was the team leader, that's the truth. Every minister can become a team leader. And more than that, LDF came again. And I think they will continue the work. Even if it is UDF, I will ask them to continue that project definitely. Whether they agree or not, I can suggest that you should continue this work, Someone will agree, someone will not agree. But I was not disappointed at that time. The government is continuing the projects. And the doctors are there, the medical teams are there. They are carrying on this project. I am thinking so. So, I am not disappointed.
Okay, thank you. Before I ask my next question, I request Manju to read a short excerpt from page 89.
Okay, so this is from a chapter called The Eternal Balancing Act again. Um, Society tells us women aren't supposed to be ambitious. A professional life is positioned as a luxury in a woman's life, as though it is a perk or an allowance offered by the kindness of those around us. And if we feel within ourselves that we have something to offer to the world, we're conditioned to feel guilty for it. I felt very strongly that I was doing important work, making my community better, using skills that I had. And given that I had such a supportive system at home to back me up, the guilt and emotional warfare in my heart didn't always make sense. But it was with me throughout.
Thank you, Manju. Teacher, you're definitely a role model for the women of Kerala. In the book, you say that if not for the support of your mother and your mother-in-law, who took upon the responsibility of managing the house, you could not have been as involved in party work as you had been. And that, as Manju just read in quotes, a professional life is positioned as a luxury in a woman's life, as though it's a perk or an allowance offered by kindness by those around us, close quotes. What is the advice you have for the women of Kerala, most of whom who still need permission to work, living in a society which believes women shouldn't be ambitious?
We all know Kerala society is also patriarchal. In our party, we are also fighting to get rid of this patriarchal attitude in comrades' family, you know. Each and every party class and party reporting, we are again and again telling that in your house, comrades should be equal-minded, you know. You should give your wife the status as your own, you know. And we are fighting and we are achieving something, you know. But the society as a whole is patriarchal now also. In Kerala, the girls are highly educated now. We got the opportunity to have education. In my childhood, most of the families were not sending the girl child to school. When I entered high school, all my colleagues were not with me. Most of the colleagues, they didn't allow to join high school and they want to get them married as soon as possible, you know, my friends. But we asked them, with the organization, we were going to each and every house and prompting the mothers and fathers to send their girl children to college and school. Someone agreed, someone didn't agree. That was the condition. But now the situation changed. The picture changed. There are so many schools in Kerala, and each and every family have something to eat. And Human Development Index, that is first among the all other states in India. And the girls are highly educated. But I have a criticism on that. The educated girls, what are they doing? They are saying they have no politics. I am not mentioning partisan politics about Communist Party or like that. When I participated in a discussion of technocrats 5 or 6 months before, they were ready to ask me some questions, as professor is doing now. And I enjoyed that questions, but I said, before you asking me, I want to ask a question to you. What is the question? Girls and boys are there. Yes, you can ask. I asked, have you any politics? At once the answer came, no madam, we have no politics. I then said, I dropped that question. I am dropping. And I am asking another question. What kind of a country is ours? At once they said, they are highly educated people. Our country is a democratic country. What is meant by democracy? I asked 3 questions. And they said, oh, we all know, for the people, by the people, of the people. Finished your democracy. And I said, democracy is not only that, for the people, by the people, of the people. Democracy means perfect equality in opportunity. Even the Greek philosophers said, democracy doesn't mean the accommodation of Tom or Harry to the office. Coming and going, either or any parties. That doesn't mean, that will not bring democracy. We should act properly to get democracy. That is the equal opportunity for each and every citizen. Is it working here in India? What is the condition of the poor people in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh in their village? They have no eatables. They have no proper houses. They are downtrodden, beaten by the upper class landlords. Then what kind of a democracy is this? Our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, addressed the scientists just after the independence. He said, all the societies are conservative, normally conservative. But our societies in India is more than normally conservative. You should make them scientific. That is your duty. Inculcating scientific temper in the society. But I cannot say nothing was done. There are so many things, but it is not completed. And for the girls, that feeling of the patriarchy, that downtrodden mindedness, that was there. Again, the feelings or the culture of the consumerate society also came to them. And most of the girls who have opportunity to work, they are not working. I asked some girls, why are you not choosing any job? No need, teacher. We have enough money. And I am getting much money for shopping from my husband. He's a businessman. That is not correct. Even the Indra Nui and that Adani family, the girls and women are working, you know. They have lot of money, but they are working. And in Manorama family also, women are working, the girls are working. But that should not be the attitude. Every girl should work for the society. They should know what is the actual need of the society. That is the politics. I said that is the, what is the drawbacks of our country? What is the need of our society? How is our democracy? How is our secularism? And how is our sovereignty? If any hindrance happening to this system, you should act. That is meant by politics. And girls also. Advice, I am not anyone to advise the society, but my suggestion is that all women should do some work to make themselves an earning member, you know. Even a little bit, entrepreneurship, and join in anything and make the life free, you know. That doesn't mean abandoning the family. I didn't abandon my family going outside. We were discussing the family budget together. We were using the money we earned together, my husband and me. And we were reducing the difficulties of our family and our relatives, even our neighbors together. That mode of activity should be there. So, boys and girls should have politics. That is about our country, thinking, thought about all Indians are our brothers and sisters, India is our country. We are taking oath in school. It is superficial, you know. Not going deep into our heart, India is our country. It is suffering something. We should fight against that. That feeling should be there. That is the politics.
Thank you, teacher. We're a bit short of time, so I'm winding up my questions with one last question, and that's to you, Manju. Manju, this is your first book, and I believe this is just a start to your career as an author. Of course, you've made your mark as an editor and a journalist. And so have you thought about writing another book? If so, what do you think it will be about? Would it be like autobiography or a memoir or like something else?
I don't have much to write about an autobiography yet, but this book is very unusual for me because it's more political, which is not my, I'm a career journalist, but my career journalism has always been in art and design. So if I do write a book in the future, it'll be about aesthetics, I think. But it was an amazing opportunity to pass up. And I think one of the things that I learned from teacher, and one of the things that we sort of, as working women, I think if we have something in common is grabbing opportunities.
I fear you become a little bit communist now. Once, one thing, sorry for the interruption. Once, the late Babu Paul IAS, I was giving a speech in one of the function, and Babu Paul was sitting there accidentally, and I was narrating about the Kayur struggle of peasants and how the 4 youths become martyrs, hanged in Kannur Central Jail. And I was saying definitely about Communist Party and its leadership. And after that, Babu Pal said, I heard Ningal and communist turkey, but I fear that I become Marxist now. She never become Marxist, don't fear.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I wrote in the book as well that I think every Malayali is a little bit socialistic, so maybe I'm...
That book, every Malayali have a left thinking. That doesn't mean everyone are Communist Party.
Teacher has been publicly declaring everywhere, she's not a Manju is not a communist, Manju is not a communist.
Yeah, I heard that in a few interviews.
We've never had this discussion before, but she has declared this everywhere. But yeah, I mean, if I do another book, it'll probably be in my line of thinking, which is more aesthetics, but who knows.
Thank you, both of you. So with that, I'm winding up with my questions. The floor is now open for discussion and questions from the audience. I was actually expecting a lot of questions because this is the first time that Manju and teacher are doing such an event in Kerala. And, she being our very own health minister, I'm quite shocked that nobody has anything to ask. He's a friend and colleague of mine from CMS College, Dr. Joji Panikar.
I'm glad to be a part of this enriching session on this wonderful memoir as a teacher described her own work. I don't know whether it is a proper question as such. In the 14 chapters that is presented in the book, it is actually the development of a young communist woman to an international acclaimed minister of the state. And you have touched upon, as Ponnu was describing, the subaltern issues right in the beginning of the first half of the book. From there, you have shared your memories of Amama, and then moving on to the how you tackled the two prominent epidemics or pandemics that the world has never faced before. My question is this. Is this largely a political narrative? Or you have also discussed the various feminist issues that the state had gone through right from the period of your grandmother. And you have also discussed the steps that you have taken during your tenure as a health minister of the state, and even the transgenders also. And my question is this: can we consider this to be a political narrative, a groundbreaking political narrative, or is it largely a feminist narrative? Which one would you term this as?
I think all the left political narrative also became a feminist narrative also. In that sense, it is a political narrative. One part is missing from this book, that is my experience as a political worker, as a women front worker and leader, and as youth front worker. There were so many activities and so many issues. That issue means the societal problems and how we solved some problems, how some problems are existing, etc. That part is missing. We cannot add all these things in this book. This contains only two parts. That two part, I explained how a little girl in a poor village, remote village without electricity, we were reading with this kerosene oil lamp all the times. At that time, we have no. When I become MLA first time, at that time, my husband's home get electricity. Same period, my home also get electric connection. Up to that time, we were living that kind of a life in the society. But we know about politics. I know about socialism, how it can change the society. What is the meaning of socialism? Work for the society. Everyone should have the opportunity to work for the society, and everyone should get according to their work. That is a simple definition of socialism. And we communists are saying communism is little bit high, I don't know whether it happens early or not, soon or not. But communism means every human beings have the opportunity to work for the society and take according to their needs. That was a dream, you know. And the method to reach there, that is different. That is different in the mind of a personality sitting here, you and I. It is not my method, you are not thinking. You are also for proper democracy and equality, everything, but your method may be different. My method is different. It is according to our party. But how the little girl came, like me, there are so many. I am only a symbol, you know, and came to the society, worked for it, and become party leader, and then become MLA, and then become minister. But the international fame, that is an accident, you know. Accidentally it came because of this crisis. Before that, no one knows this Shailaja teacher, you know, even in Kerala. No one knows. But during that Nipah and COVID, how we tackled this problem. When the Virology Institute in USA, and they invited Honorable Chief Minister and me to describe about that. There are famous scientists like Robert Gallo and his colleagues there, and they asked me to explain what do they did there. I was shivering actually in my mind, but I didn't show it outside, and I pretend I was very brave, and CM is sitting. CM asked me, our health minister told them, our health minister will explain it. I am not prepared for that, you know, in front of such a eminent personalities. I never dreamed that CM is there. I think he will explain everything. I can sit simply. But he said our health minister will explain it. And I explained whatever we did here, I explained it. They were very happy and they appreciated us. They said it is impossible to contain this deadly virus within a short span of time in a small place. You did an excellent job, they said. That time only I am thinking we were doing or we did an excellent job. At that time, only one aim, to save the life of the poor people, to contain the virus, to stop the propagation or the infection of the virus. And we did everything. We discussed it together. And we have very good quarantine. At that time I heard the word quarantine. I am familiar with that word at that time. I heard before, but what is quarantine? I am not a doctor, you know. And I studied what is quarantine. How is it possible? We built a team and asked them. Some young doctors were like CIDs, you know. Intelligence, police, intelligence department. They are going to the village to get the contact list. People were not saying freely, I have contact with that person. They are keeping mum. And they are eliciting from them, going, asking questions, without going nearby, keeping 3-meter distance away. They were asking questions to get the answer. And one lady doctor called Ponnu. I wrote her name in my book. We called her CID. You know. In that way we were working, and that works collectively. That the result of the teamwork, I got some fame, you know. It is not mine only. I am a part of that. But that all the fames goes to the teamwork. The real heroes were behind the curtains, you know. And Shailaja teacher got all these fame. Our teacher was doing a fantastic job, and they appreciated the community. I didn't even think that Vogue will publish a page. Sometimes Manju is responsible for that. At that time, I am not familiar with Manju, you know. I didn't even call her or talk her, even see her. And the Guardian, they have an interview with me. Someone called me from Guardian and they asked an interview. Directly, they called me while I was minister. And Laura Spinney was interviewing you. I didn't listen to Laura Spinney. It's a pity. She is a very famous writer and journalist. I should have to know about her, but it's a pity I didn't know her at that time. But when I Googled, I astonished her. She is a very famous person, you know. And she have an interview, online interview with me. I didn't expect that the Guardian will give a full page interview. And they gave it. And a heading also. coronavirus slayer who can kill the coronavirus, you know. KK Shailaja teacher, coronavirus slayer, and rock star minister of Kerala. Hearing that, someone mistake rock dancer and said, they told that minister is rock dancer. What a pity, you know. And that was a joke only. He didn't intend like that, but accidentally that also came, you know, from that person. And that way the fame came to me. I'm not overexcited on that, and I'm not neglecting that also, and enjoying, but I'm not overexcited, because that time was like that crucial period, and I got all the fame because I was there at that time.
Do we have any other questions from the audience?
But now the next task of yours should be clearing Kerala from its garbage issue. I think COVID and garbage is as important for everybody.
I'm very happy to be with Prema Madam. Our Ayurvedan was always saying about her, and he said once I will take you to Prema Madam, but didn't happen. Ayurvedan was no more now, you know. But anyway, Madam, that is the most important thing, the garbage issue in Kerala. Our population is too high in Kerala. That is also a vulnerability, you know. That's a good thing, increasing population. In 1 square kilometer, 860 people are living here. Our national average is only 430. And Kerala now become a urban area, you know, not rural. We cannot separate the rural and urban in Kerala. And we are living in most of the people become middle class and upper middle class also. And what they consume and what they are utilizing, that also increased. That manner also the garbage issue become a severe problem. They have no proper land to get rid of these garbages and all these things. So we should have modern projects for that, not little bit projects. Source reduction at the place, that is a good thing. Collecting these things and burying these things at that place itself, the bio garbages, we can do that. And the plastic we have to send to other places to make use of that plastic for other things. But little bit projects, I think it will not work. It should be there, and huge projects, large projects should also be there. Ernakulam, you all heard all the halabalas at that time. We are thinking now to have a most modern project. In some foreign countries, we cannot identify that is a garbage plant. There is a garbage plant there. Nicely we are doing with the modern technology and science. Science will work definitely. Kerala should also think about that. We are thinking about that. I think there is a solution. Solution is there within the problem. We are believing like that. Every problem we have a solution, but we should go through the solution way to get the solution, you know. Now Kerala government is thinking about that, huge projects and scientific projects.
Hi ma'am. Having had a feather on your hat after 5 years of being the health minister, if you were given a second chance of being another minister for another department, which ministership would you take and why? Something that would be very close to you, where you feel that you could make a difference.
There is no question to have a second chance, but I can answer this question in its spirit, you know. We can take any department, you know. There is possibility in everywhere. Everywhere we can do something. We can utilize the space, not only becoming a minister, but I'm an MLA now. Now I am working in my constituency. I have a consolidated project or a total education project. We formed naming Tarangam. It is a total education project for my constituency. All the government projects we are concentrating, and also some project other than the government budget and government project, with the participation of the poor people and all others experts. We are doing some other things also. The Indian Oil Corporation supplied us 30 lakhs rupees worth sports materials to distribute in the schools in my constituency. And we distributed, not only distributing, but we are checking whether the schools are utilizing these things. Some schools have no sports teacher, PET teacher, PE teacher. So we are not hiring, voluntarily some people are doing for this project. They are going to school and they are practicing the poor students for the sports. I am only giving one example. We have opportunity everywhere. There is no need to become minister again or thinking about another portfolio. Portfolios are here in our place, under our eyes. If you open our eyes, we have space everywhere and we can do anything everywhere. But we should have a dream that we should become something different. That is my thinking. All MLAs are doing everything. I want to become something different. And every person should think like that, to do something different. I am satisfied with that.
Teacher, we were all in great awe of you, of the work you've done. And throughout your talk today, you were talking about teamwork. And no teamwork is possible without good leadership. And I'm sure when you were, because you had to attend to things every day. I just want to know is that, especially when we were saying about democracy and everybody working, equality, when you were trying to work out for the COVID affected time, did you have a free hand in doing things as you wished, or did you have certain problems where the hierarchy would stop you or would give you the go-ahead signal? Thank you.
There were so many problems, Even our health department will discuss something, some SOP and some protocol, etc. And we were drafting that, me and my colleagues, my secretary, eminent doctors, etc. Some other officers from other department, they will say that that is not correct, We can do this way, we can do this way. And they were directly going to Chief Minister and saying that that is not correct, we are thinking this method. For example, when COVID started spreading, Health Department decided we should have to adopt containment methods. But someone are saying, no, we cannot adopt this method, we directly go to the mitigation method. Let the virus free, allow the virus to spread free, and then we will get herd immunity. At that time, no vaccine came at that time. And we didn't even know what is the habit of this virus fully. At that time, we cannot. Health Department didn't agree with that, and we adopted the containment method, not mitigation. At last, it was proved. It is proved, but our method is right, And even Sweden Prime Minister said that we adopted the mitigation method first. It was a foolish thing, and no one imitated us. He said like that. But at that time, even some IAS officers said, I directly went to Chief Minister. And I said, he said, some officers are saying like this. I said, CM, it is not correct. This is a dangerous virus, highly infectious. Now doctors and medical experts are saying that we should adopt containment method this time. And when the WHO have the slogan, test, nothing else. We adopted little bit different strategies, Trace, quarantine, test, isolate, treat. There is meaning in that. Testing everybody. The test kit will finish all of a sudden. And we cannot use it for the proper person. So we use that test kit in the first part very scientifically, And that is why we are saying, there are so many hindrances, but we overcome with our collective work. And CM was very pro to Health Department. He always, in common general meeting, with all other secretaries were there, he said, let Health Department decide that thing. This is a health issue. Let them allow it to decide. So I got support from Chief Minister. But there are so many, not only that, there are so many issues. All are not working well. I am saying I have a team, but some person are not joining in the team. All are not Dr. Jayakumar. When they heard Nipah is there, some doctors started to place leave letters. And at once I rushed there in medical college and I asked them, you cannot take leave without proper reason. We should have to shoulder this because this is a health issue. Otherwise, I will call some youth congress or DYFI people to tackle this problem. We cannot. Only health community can solve the problem. So you should be here. At last they obeyed, There are so many hindrances, It is not very easy. It was not an easy task. Nothing was easy in health sector, They are all struggling now also.
Thank you. I think we have just time for one more question. There's somebody at the back who's been raising his hand for a while now.
Yes. Hi, thank you so much for coming to Kottayam. I had the opportunity to listen to both of you in Bangalore, so I had a great time there. So I'm very happy this is happening in Kottayam. So my question is, as a young person who's interested and involved in politics, we kind of find ourselves being a little hopeless at times because a lot of things we do may not have a lot of effect. So with your years and years of experience as a political worker, I don't want to use the word advice, but like what suggestion do you have for people who find themselves hopeless, and what kind of hope can you give people?
Hopelessness is not a remedy for anything, We are hopeless because our dream is very high, but our resource is too low. And the mentality to solve the problem, people are not coming together to solve the problem properly because we are living in a consumerist capitalist society. I am thinking so. Whether you can agree or disagree, but profit-oriented capitalism cannot solve the problems of all the citizens, We should have the mind of Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhiji, EMS, or like veterans. They were thinking to solve the problem. Gandhiji once said that you can take the decision, you can take any decision, but that decision should be pro to or give some good things to the poor people, the poorest of our country, then only you took that decision. That was the thing. Collecting monies or having private property, that was not a question. If you are working hard, we can improve our situation and we can have money, private property. No one is against that. But we should not forget the poor people who have nothing to eat or nothing to cover their body. We are citizens of our country. We should think about that. So, let us try to work hard to solve the problems. We solved so much problems up to nowadays, after independence, so much problems. But there are main problems there. That doesn't mean feeling hopelessness. We should have to struggle. We should have to raise our voice against the authorities to give money. All my national meeting, when they convened, the Central Health Minister convened the meeting of Health Ministers of Kerala, I was raising my voice there. Sir, please give more money to Kerala. We have this problem, we have that problem. They were very friendly to me. That's the thing, D.P. Naddaji and also Harshavardhanji, two health ministers were there in my time. And Minister, we will give you, they are saying, but they are not giving. Example, the AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Science. How much time I give the things to health minister, central health minister, even chief minister himself visited and met prime minister and asked. When Naddaji came here, he told the pressman, they asked, you are not giving. Oh, your minister is asking every time. I will give her the AIMS for me. But I said, sir, you are always saying like this, but you are not giving. Once I said, sir, it is politics, Because of the political disparity, you are not considering Kerala. No, minister, we will give you in a phased manner, but we are not getting. That doesn't mean to become complete disappointment or hopelessness. Other than AIMS, we are building another things, Not only one thing. We can do several other things. So, do as much you can. Try to solve the problems as much as you can. You will get some result. And that will give you some enthusiasm to move forward. And ultimate aim, that is the Let us try together to get that also, get that things fulfilled. And I also wrote in my book from from the Philippine Senate. They give me an email that I was selected for the Magsaysay Award. 4 award they are giving 4 people. Every year they are giving award to 4 people. Among them, one is me. They selected me. And I thought about that and I discussed with my colleagues and they said you can take a decision. When I searched that Magsaysay, in his period, he was deadly against the communist ideology. He was not a totally cruel man. I cannot say so because he was a very good reformer and he did large things to his society according to his philosophy. But he was deadly against communists and he massacred communist activists, etc. Seeing that, reading that, I thought it will become a discussion in my party also, and the poor comrades will think that, oh, teacher is going behind these awards and never thinking about the ideology or philosophy. So I wrote a letter to them showing all my respect. I cannot blame them or like that. They are a very great society, that award committee. And the personalities who got awards also, they were very great persons, even including Mother Teresa, etc. I am not near 100 kilometers or 1,000 kilometers away from that, And I wrote a letter that I was very thankful to you and I appreciate all your work, but as a politician, as a Central Committee member of CPIM, I cannot accept this award, forgive me. And they wrote a reply to me. We are very sad that it was a unanimous decision in our Senate. And we are so sad that you are not accepting, but we appreciate your stand as a party leader, and we also agree that no problem. They wrote a letter to me. And that was the end, finished. Yes, definitely, we are fighting. That was a social problem, All the department, even the excise department, they started a project called Vimukti. And they are working with our health system, medical colleges and general hospitals, etc. Vimukti to save the drug addicted people. And it is working, not sufficient. We should also increase. And not only that, we all should have very good campaigns against this drug addiction. It is a severe thing, dangerous thing, Let us work together.
Namaskaram, teacher. I was honored to be part of your leadership while I was working at the Gender Park when you were the Minister of Department of Women and Child. My question is to both of you, to Ms. Manju as well as to teacher. Since you both had the opportunity to represent Kerala or to write about Kerala or have been to many national and international platforms, I'm just curious to know, what do people think about us, about Kerala? Do they say that, do they perceive that we are so rude or opinionated, or do they say that we have a lot of rich in heritage? What do they talk about, sir? Talk about us, the state. Yeah, generally, what is the perception about Kerala in national or international platforms? How do they describe us? Just curious to know.
They are all admiring and appreciating Kerala, I have an opportunity to speak in UN General Assembly during COVID period. Otherwise, I can go to their UN office to UN Assembly and participate in that function. They were honoring the social workers throughout the world. 7 personalities were selected from India. I was selected for that thing, but we should have to do online. And UN Secretary General was there also. And they asked me to explain what social works were going on in Kerala and what is Kerala's problem. I explained our problem and also our achievements there. Everyone who spoke after me and even Secretary General appreciated Kerala's work, Kerala was very famous, Not only a small state in our country, but Kerala is Kerala. And they appreciated. In each and every international bodies, I was hearing this thing. Oh, you are from Kerala. Please tell me what is What are you doing there? How is the people? Everything. Our culture, our uniformity among diversity, our secularism. There is a threat towards our secularism. You all should understand and should fight hard to maintain this harmony. Otherwise, we will also fall. Definitely, we should have to fight for the secular ideology, you know. And that was Kerala. That is Kerala. Everyone was in favor of us, not criticizing or ridiculing us. I am proud of that.
So that's an interesting question because I grew up in Dubai, and when I was growing up, you know, people would sort of tease you by saying Mallu, Mallu and all that. But it's funny you should ask that because we were having this discussion yesterday, and partly because, of course, because of the COVID response. But also, I think in the last decade, because of the creative field, the Kochi Biennale, movies, a lot of cultural changes, being Malayali has become very cool, certainly, and there's definitely partly because of tourism and a series of threads of things, and which also I think has to do with the fact that OTT platforms and our films have become some of the most talked about in the country. So there's certainly a huge change. I mean, the fact that Teacher was on the cover of Vogue, which till that point had only ever had celebrities and Bollywood celebrities. And the year that in 2020, they did 2 South Indian covers, which had never happened in the history of Vogue till that point. There was one cover which had Dulquer Salman and a whole series of Malayali. I mean, we did stories on all the latest directors and film stars from Kerala. Teacher was on the cover. That's 2 covers in one single year in Vogue, which up to that point had never happened. So there's certainly been a huge shift in perception. And yeah, I mean, we're very cool and...
Glad to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your presence. On behalf of DC Books and Events at Kallaguna, I extend my heartfelt thanks to everybody present here, and thank you for making this a lively discussion. The book is made available here. You can buy your copy, and the authors will be here to sign your personal copy. Tea and refreshments have also been arranged. Thank you.